Tanisha Mars. I am live from Coffee, Chix, and Comics, and we are out at our public engagement event in collaborations with Comics at the Corner. So I'm going to flip the camera around, and today you will not see me the entire time. You will see the host of Comics at the Corner, Miss Dawn Arrington. She is the CEO and founder, and she's going to talk about her programming.
Live?
You are live.
Live. Hey,
Good morning,
everybody.
Dawn.
Come out, hang out with us, come get some free comics, come learn from comic creators and people who are in that world today. We are doing our first Literacy Lounge of 2024, and it's all about careers in comics today. Learning what that means from people who have careers in the comic world.
And for those who aren't from Cleveland, what is Comics at the Corner? What does it inspire? What does it, manifest? What was your vision for this company?
Yeah, so Comics at the Corner is at its core a organization that promotes literacy, but more importantly is promoting community. We believe that every person has the right to be enlightened, enriched, and entertained. And one way to do that is to engage with comic books that have culturally relevant and representative characters and scenarios. And so we believe that, every person should have a pathway to book ownership through book choice and book representation.
Nice. And so when did you start your mission?
2018.
Okay.
2018, I was out here fundraising to have people help me buy comic books and distribute them to people in the community. And what I kind of realized is it's not safe to be like, hey, little child, hey, strange person, come to the back of my car and get these comic books. While well-meaning, is probably just not the thing to do. And so this is where the work has progressed to, doing the pop-up events and eventually having comic book reading nooks in locations coming to you soon at different locations in the community.
Nice. And do you want to talk about what we have, some of our artists that we have on panel today that you're giving away?
Yes, so of course we have our featured books from 50/50 Comics, so come and grab one of these because these are hot off the presses and not always readily available because we don't have bookstores in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have libraries. That's where we are today, coming from the East 131st Street Library. But this is our opportunity for you to have a shopping experience. Think of it as the book fair from school, right? You come in and select. We have a ton of
Marvel, DC, I see some indies up in there. Got Ultimate Fan Favorites. You have Arrow.
Yes, we also have some Pajama Diaries, anthologies, I guess.
Yeah.
Pajama Diaries anthologies. And then we also have Man on a Mission, the James Meredith and the Battle of Ole Miss. This man is a living civil rights legend, and the editor of this book, Vijay Shah, is going to be joining us today to talk about what it means to be an editor or to be the person who's moving all the pieces together, almost like a producer of an album.
Nice.
So that's what we got going on today. Come hang out with us from 1 to 3 p.m. today. And we also have some free snacks. There's some artwork. We got some bags that you can decorate. You can create your own comic panels, and we also have coloring sheets. So, we really just want people to come and hang out with us and develop more community together.
Yay! And last but not least, what is your favorite comic? I know you can't just pick one, right? Because there's so many different reasons why we read comics.
Yeah.
And we are very biased. But if you had to have that one that you were stuck on the island with, which one would it be?
Okay.
And it doesn't necessarily, it could be a graphic novel. It doesn't necessarily have to be a comic per se.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so I do love the Batman like series and the artwork from that. It's a little dark, it's moody, it's you know, it's like every boy that I had a crush on in high school. So I'm a huge fan of that artwork. But then also the Ta-Nehisi Coates Black Panther series, that 6-part series. I could read that over and over and over again. The artwork, the storyline, those two I could probably, you know, sit and veg out with over and over and over again.
Nice. Well, thanks, Dawn, for having us here today.
Thank you for coming.
And
really appreciate
thank
it.
you so much for inviting us into your space and the community space and being part of that.
Yeah, so there are 20 militarized global conflicts happening in the world right now. So it's not just like the things that we sometimes hear about, like maybe what's happening in Sudan, right? Or like, you know, things that are getting a lot of attention between what's happening in Gaza with Israel and Hamas and the Palestinian people. And it's not just Russia and Ukraine. I mean, I couldn't even begin to tell you what's happening past, say, Israel, Russia, and Ukraine, Sudan, and Haiti, maybe? Beyond that, there are still 16 others, unnamed military conflicts that are recognized by the UN, that are being talked about on a global scale that we don't know about.
And I think that's the point, right?
Yes.
The less you know, the easier it is for me to kind of be like, well, you pay attention to the big four. I'm going to handle the smaller ones. Don't worry about it. I got it. I'm taking care of it. You won't even know what's going on.
Them people is good.
Right. It's fine. I'm going to fix it.
It's not a real thing.
I'm going to fix it. To the point where, like you said, then it ends up being, I have no idea what to focus on. There's so many things, and now I have fatigue. I can't be bothered. So what I can do is.
Do you think that part is purposeful?
Definitely.
The fatigue part of it? But
Definitely.
But who?
Definitely. I think that's a harder question, right? Because everybody's passionate about something.
I think
And
it's
if you
power.
Well, and so
Power likes power.
It does, but also it's dissension, right? If you're worried about Israel and Hamas, and I'm focused on Sudan, who's more important?
Yeah.
Who do we focus on if everybody thinks their individual thing is just as important as your individual thing? And not to say that it is not,
Right.
but that's just like, and I hate to be this kind of basic, but Montgomery bus boycott, right?
Yeah.
Most people think that was like a week. That was months of people giving other people rides, of walking miles upon miles to work. People like to use that as an example. We need to gather like the bus boycott. Yeah, but do you realize the commitment that takes?
Man.
And do you realize the focus that takes?
And the impact that, like,
Right,
you
like,
can't have
it was
impact on one day.
Right, like it's not going to happen in a day.
No.
And it can't be, well, guess what else? There were restaurants. Yes, but today's focus, this month's focus, this focus for the next several years is going to be the bus.
Yeah.
Okay? We're working on the bus. Not to say that that the schools are not important, but right now, this is the focus.
Yes.
And there was a collective buy-in of, you know what, you're right. We'll focus on the bus. And then my thing will get put on the agenda and we'll focus on my thing. We don't do that now. We go, Israel and Hamas is important. Yes, it is. It's totally important. But so is Haiti. Okay, you're right. But Israel and Hamas. So let's focus on that, and then we'll get to.
And then wait, Israel Hamas, but before Israel Hamas, it was Ukraine and Russia. And
Russia.
that fight has been going on for
It's still
2
not
years, 3 years.
And that's the thing. It's not a has. Is present tense. But
Yeah.
it's not the new, for lack of a better phrase, it's not the new it thing to talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
And I just read an article that
And I
says
think
about-
that was where we kind of came from with our comic books, because these are things that are very relevant and have been going on for years and months and decades and centuries, and since the beginning of time, since before Christ. So how do we make these conversations relevant to the generation that's now going to be our predecessors? When we're old and in a wheelchair, do we really want to go back to having to try and get to a bunker? Or do we want to learn how to address these issues so we can establish that it's every kid's dream to say, I want peace when I grow up. I want world peace. I want a green earth. I want, climate change to not be real, but to actually know what those issues are. Learn about them in a way that strategically prepares them to take on those issues, because those are your 4-year predecessors. So how can they get into a place where they're not 90 trying to change things, but they are 40 and 50-year-olds? Because we had a 40 and 50-year-old president for the first time in American history, and we wasted his 8 years.
But that's what I'm saying. We got what we wanted, and then we were so distracted by all
By
kinds
a
of
tan suit.
oh my gosh, by things that make absolute, like, does it really matter what color suit he had on? Did he have on a suit? Fantastic. Now,
But
the issue at hand-
that part is the intentional power piece.
that's what I'm saying. If I could get you distracted on enough randomness, on enough unimportant, minuscule, minute things, then as she said, 8 years flew by. What did we accomplish? What did we get done?
Weapons of mass distraction.
I love it. I love it. And that's what happened. And then you get another president in who won. The progress we did make, he claims that he made it, and nobody really takes into account. Like, no, most change doesn't happen while the president is in office. It happens
12 years. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like it
the
happens
reality
after.
about educational policy, the reality is whatever changes you make today in education, No Child Left Behind is a perfect example of it, right? Educational policy, you do not see the impacts of that education policy until a child has gone through the full 12-year, 13-year cycle. P16 actually, right? So it's like 16 years. You don't see the full impacts of whatever policy has been made today, whatever cuts have been made, whatever additions have been made, whatever, busing policy, ending the policy, beginning a new policy. You do not see the impacts of that policy until 12 to 16 years later.
Right, and we have built our society continuously as a now. It can happen now.
It can happen
If
now.
you vote for it, it'll happen now. You'll see it tomorrow.
No.
If you do it right now, it'll happen in a millisecond. And that's what I'm saying. We have convinced ourselves and generations coming after us that it will happen instantaneously.
Yes. And
Like,
also,
there's no such thing as struggle. That will not happen. Like,
And I
road
think-
to success is very quick. It is very straight. There's no such thing as, oh no, it took me years to get here.
Yeah.
That is not, they do not, the cognitive, like, connection
dissonance.
for that.
It's cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, like, that does not compute. The idea is, the minute I say I want to do a thing.
The thing happens.
Right.
The thing is
happens.
supposed to
It falls
happen,
in
like right
line.
now.
Everybody should.
There's
should
no
come together.
blueprint, there's no planning, there's no thought about it, there's no research, there's no, and those are all the things you go into. Like, that's things about careers, right? They all have a foundational piece to it. There's planning, there's research, there's education, there's different things of, is it already occurring? Because you are always want to be the fresh new thing, right? But how do you, if it's already here, how do you make it fresher? There's probably 50 million different reading programs across the world, but there's only one Comix at the Corner,
Right.
and it's happening here in Cleveland.
And I'm not here to like circumvent a thing that's actually working. I was talking to my aunt about this yesterday. She's back in the hospital. She's not doing well, and like she was on a newer medication, her medication, and now she's back on something that came out before that one. Hello. You coming in? Yeah. Okay. And she was like, yeah, but this one was created before the one that I was on. And I was like, yeah, you know, but sometimes
It's time to color.
it's just everything old is new again kind of thing. But those old things work. Like there's 1,000,001 skincare products
Yeah.
out on the market. But my mama taught me to just come on. Taught me to just put some Vaseline on my face and it still works.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. And I think that's the idea.
Hey everybody, it's Nisha Mars from Coffee, Chix, and Comics. Thank you so much for tuning in to another weekly special of our show. We enjoy having you every week, and we hope to bring you more new and exciting episodes. Unfortunately, this episode got cut short as we started receiving guests for the actual event. However, we will be back next week, not necessarily with Dawn, but with someone. So tune in to find out who's next on Coffee, Chix, and Comics. And hopefully my co-host Jess will also be back. Till then, ta-ta.